Hello, kittens. Welcome back. We are still in South America and we are just getting started. I hope you guys had fun with Ayran. Up next, we have an international panel with artists from all over, from Colombia, Mexico, Argentina. We really try to combine the whole continent here. It is hosted by someone who is really close to us here at Playgrounds. Her name is Juliana Errazzo. She's one of our next talents, and it's the first time that she's hosting for us, so wish her lots of luck. Together with her guest, she is going to dive in the creative scene of South America. Um, Up next, we have Lola Barreto, Pablo Costanian from Dos Vente, and we have Yasmin Islas from Mexico. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the state of the industry, South America.
Art with art.
Hello and welcome to the State of the Industry South America panel. We at the Art Department Tour 24 hours live stream. This is a marathon and we will connect a new international community and discover talents from all around the world. And so today we have three special guests. First is Lola Barreto. She's a Colombian animator, director, designer, and producer of multimedia projects. She has produced and co-created in recent years projects that excel the cultural heritage and visibility of new female and Afro-descendant talents for different fields of arts, education, and communication. After working in Canada for several years, she founded Autobotica, her transmedia VFX and animation design company.
Thank
Next,
you.
welcome, Lola. It's really nice to have you. Next, we have Pablo Gostanian. He comes in representation of Dos Veinte, which is a heavily awarded production company based in Buenos Aires, Argentina. It is internationally recognized for its design and animation projects. The studio combines commercial work with non-commercial projects, such as experimental shorts. Several of those, such as Ricochet Splendid, Psychic Land, Wild and Woolly, and 100 Years Armenian Genocide, have been selected and showcased at more than 50 animation film festivals all over the world. And next, welcome Pablo. And next we have Jasmine Islas. Jasmine is a character designer and 3D animator and modeler based in Mexico City. She has collaborated with many studios in Mexico City and worked with clients such as Disney and Adult Swim. She co-directs an animation collective called Papaya Queen. Their short films have been selected in festivals in Mexico, France, and Kosovo. Her personal work is inspired by nature and kawaii aesthetic. She has participated in collective exhibitions in Mexico and Germany. Welcome, Jasmine.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi.
All right, so this is super exciting to have you all here. We are going to discuss a bit some issues and some positive things and exchange ideas. So first, I want to open up talking about, on a personal note, I have always believed that Latin America is filled with potential stories. It has a lot of creativity and richness and intricate cultural heritage and creativity. So I want to ask you, what do you think Latin animation and or illustration has to offer to the world? So maybe, Pablo, could you start with this?
Um, Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you, Jasmine, Lola, Juliana. Hola a todas. So I think that this particular question is like really, it's a really good one. I think that Latin American countries has a lot of talent right now, and see that like the work and the and the exposure that the Latin American studios and talents they're showcasing right now. So I think that the like, I don't know why, but I think that the talented like the talent has been like flourishing like the past, I don't know, 10 years. And I think that is going up like really quickly. And like I don't know what specific we can be offering to the world, but I think that right now, due to globalization and other stuff, you cannot see like a specific style that we're offering. I think that the talent is more like an individual thing, like more than a place. I think that the place that you're in is not the actual style that you're seeing. It's like more of an person thing. So that's my opinion on that. But I don't want to talk too much. Right?
Yeah, thank you. Maybe Lola, do you have something you want to say?
Yeah, sure. I totally agree with you, Pablo. I think that I want to add to what you just said is that we are in a moment where Latin America has this opportunity of show out there and to tell the stories that are unknown. I think the most important is that we have another point of view in the terms of creativity as well, because creativity it's all of about having not only talent but great stories. And I think the story of Latin America has been built up over, of course, over stories of violence. And an animation, for example, is a great technique and a great way to heal that, to talk about some other ways to create this world. So I think Latin America right now, it's we are in the moment where we are trying to connect in a different way, especially right now with COVID. It's been hard for all of us. It's been like the change in the industry to give solution to the crisis that we are having in the entire planet. So it's the moment that we are designing our own ways to do and to create and do animation. So I think Latin America has lot to offer,
Yeah.
even though we don't have all the financials, because we are creating that economy. We are creating the economy of creativity, and I think it's very important in the place we're having right now.
Okay, thank you. And Jasmine, do you have something you want to add?
No, I think that they summed it up very well. Yeah, I think we are giving animation and illustration like more diversity because it's a very new field that has been growing from 10 years before. But yeah, I think that diversity is something good that we are.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, I definitely agree with you. It's important to not only see ourselves as creatives that come from one place, but also as individuals, and how can we as individuals make the industry better here and everywhere in the world. I also want to talk about the fact that Latin women sometimes struggle to have direction or art direction positions in production, in animated productions, no matter how highly skilled they are or qualified they are. Sometimes, personally, I think it's a visibility issue and sometimes a lack of platforms and opportunities. I wanted to ask you what you think are the main things that we all together as an industry have to get through to start closing this gap. So maybe you, Jasmine, you have a collective, and we were speaking. It's a women collective, which is interesting because it's in the part of creation. So what do you think about this?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of problems, especially here in Latin America, about sexism, and that has to do also with, for example, gender bias. For example, in contests and even in most of studios I've worked with, they're mainly formed by men. Like there are 8 men per 1 woman. So imagine trying to pitch something to a team of where in which everybody is men. It's like they, even though you might have the skills, and yeah, you might be a great animator or art director or anything. It is very biased, and they tend to diminish the work of women. You need to keep proving that you are worth it, even though you are there. For example, they are not Latin America, but Elizabeth Ito and Lisa Hannawalt, even though their shows show to be were very successful, they were canceled. And even though they had all the experience and yeah, all those years, they were canceled. So sometimes I watch them and yeah, complain about it, and I'm like, oh, if they're complaining and they are from the United States, what can I expect being in Latin America and being a woman?
Yeah, and maybe on this note, Pablo, can you give me your take on this coming from a studio? Like, what is the thing there?
Yeah, it's really kind of weird that I answer that question. Is this like because it's I think that that this women matter right now is kind of sensitive. I totally agree that women needs a lot of space right now, and they're like blooming and all that. That's great. We particularly in, like in our studio, we just choose people according to the talent. We never see like gender or whatever. It's like that. That's nonsense. It's like we were not raised like that. So I personally don't understand that. That's why I don't want to talk about that. But I know that in some other places they are like struggling just to be there, show their talent and show what they can do. So I am with them 100%, and I agree and all that. But I think that it's time that women speak up and not us. It's like we just have to watch.
Thank you for that. That's great. And on that note, I want to end with Lola. Lola, she is right now leading the creation or the opening of the chapter of women in animation in Colombia, which is a very important thing that needs to happen in all the countries, at least in the close time. So I want to know what you think in short so that we can continue with the next questions.
Well, I think that it's important to talk about these issues because it comes from even having a spot or having a place to work. So we, in the community, we saw in Colombia, for example, there was a need to promote women creators in the whole Colombia. And we did a survey. And with that survey, we found that one of the highest problems that they had was the access to jobs. So access to having titles or credits of, like if you have studied animation abroad, for example, in another country, and then you come back to Colombia, and where are you gonna work, or where are the companies that are giving opportunities to these women in a very fair way? I'm telling in a very fair way. It's also about giving them all the resources in terms of salaries, wages, health, and all the conditions about getting them into the industry. So how we as directors, producers are creating these spaces for them, it's very important. And also it's very important to talk about, because I know there are so many men that they feel very excluded by these conversations, and that's not the feeling that we need to follow up. So we need to talk about gender equality in all places without being, we don't have to go there and say I'm against you because you're a man, or no, that's not the way. I think just a matter of conversation, and this is a very deep work with women about having fears, because we were raised in a culture where we fear about speaking up, fear about getting
Yeah,
damage and all of
sorry.
that.
Sorry to interrupt you, but yeah, we even feared of going out, like with all the
Yeah.
violence and so.
Physical violence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to extend up.
Yeah, let's keep on moving. Maybe bring the hopes up. So another thing that happens is most great Latin artists are now expats and they are living in other parts of the country, myself included. I am from Colombia, but I don't live in Colombia at the moment. I'm an expat. And sometimes I feel like we as Latinos have to travel outside the country to make it big, or at least that's what they tell us. Especially in our countries, our families, they tell us, yeah, you need to get out because there's more opportunities outside. I wanted to ask, do you agree with this sentiment? And why do you feel like that is? And maybe we can start with Jasmine.
Yeah, well, I think it depends on what you want to do because I mean there's job, but there's not specialized jobs. For example, or also artistic. Most of jobs I take here in Mexico are to do TV commercials and so. And sometimes the point of view of clients or even agencies, it's like very old. So I end up making art that I don't enjoy. And also, if you work here at the studio, most probable thing is that you have to do everything. You are going to do from storyboard to rigging to animation to editing, everything. So if you are really into something and would like to specialize, for example, in storyboard, you would like to be a great storyboard artist, it is not possible to do it here. That's one of the reasons I think people that are seeking a specific thing in the industry go abroad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you. What do you think, Pablo?
I will speak my country, right?
Yeah.
Country, the terms of the expat, that is kind of complicated just because there's a lot of industry here and they're coming from different parts of the countries like nearby. Got a bunch of from Colombia, from Chile, from Brazil. We have one from Mexico, and so they come here to study, and they can speak Spanish here, so that's kind of easy. And then they go Europe or somewhere else. But a lot of ex people from ex kind of colleagues from Dos 20, they tend to go Europe or maybe like right now there's like 5 from Dos 20. So I think that they kind of use the studio as a trampoline to go out, and that's fine. We're used to that, and I think that finally, like long term, they tend to come back and they miss their families and the city and the country as well. So I think that I can speak my country. That is kind of complex. There's a lot of people that goes away, and there's some others that come back, but there's job opportunity here as well. So I think that is not like they all go away.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Yeah, I think Argentina is a bit more different on that side. Like, I feel the industry is a bit more developed there than it is at least in Colombia. I don't know about Mexico, but yeah.
Of course, yeah, Mexico too.
Yeah. What do you think about that applied to Colombia, Lola?
Well, I don't. I think the scenario is changing right now because we had a moment where we, especially women, we had to go away to find jobs outside the country, and this is very true. But that's not the only reason. Everybody wants to travel. Everybody wants to see the world, to fulfill great stories, to meet another artist, to be at festivals and talk about techniques and new ways of doing. So that's the most important. But I think most of the people that go away from Colombia are also because they're looking for better opportunities in terms of work. There is not there is not a lie for anyone that in Latin America we're still struggling in terms of financials. I agree that Mexico, for example, has a great industry of animation. Like the industry has grown a lot. Argentina, Brazil, and Chile, I think, are the best spots to to get specialized in narratives as well. And in Colombia, we're still trying to find that place where we're trying to get agreements in between industries, collectives, independent artists, and so there is a lot of conversation around, and this scenario is changing right now because with COVID, we have seen that you, Juliana, you are outside the country, but it's like your body can be there, but there are still ties to the country where you can collaborate in a very different way that we had 10 years ago. This was impossible. So right now it's like, okay, I'm feeling Colombian here in Netherlands or in, Spain, and I still can co-create and get new ways of doing with another artist in UK, in Japan. And so I think it's great, and it's been uh, I don't want to say this, but I think COVID has opened a new scenario for the animation industry, that it's
Totally.
more inclusive and more collaborative, and we can share in a very, very, very different way.
Yeah, totally.
Totally agree. And I want to follow up that question. Maybe this one I wanted to be us, more like dreaming. So personally, I believe the way to keep our talented people is to turn this industry into one that gives opportunity and economical success to everyone and creative freedom. So one that we are working in amazing projects every month and yeah, just dreaming up. So I want to know, what do you think it would take for the Latin creative industry to become such sort of like a powerhouse and a referent in the world?
Wow.
Dream big.
What a question.
Think
So
big.
what was the question again?
Wow. That's a great
Dream
question.
big.
Okay, we can do like a brainstorming here. I
Yeah,
think
dude,
just
let's do
a way
brainstorming.
to start that. I think because I believe in the power of creation of animation, and I think the power that we have as creators to materialize and to create this powerful energy around characters and universes is great. So if we shift from the place of competition and go to the place where we can collaborate, that would be great.
Yeah, collaboration is key.
I think that like what I've learned in this, like I don't know, I've been like in this industry like for the last like 12 years. I think that the main reason that we can grow is like to have the money to do that. I am just being like too damn honest about that. But
The
I think
producer.
that the talent is there. I think that if we have money, we can grow, and that's it. I think that like bringing here some good clients that pay for big projects and all that, and big jobs, and do like a show with storytelling for Netflix or the main brands. That's a lot to like. That's a really good way to grow, and I think that that we need. We just need that. It's, I think that's nothing else. It's like we have all the rest. That's what I mean.
Yeah. We need some more marketing over here.
Yeah, of course.
Everyone that's watching, you can go into the chat and shoot me some questions, and we're going to be answering them within the rest of the panel. I have another question, and this is also for the audience. So what advice would you give to somebody who is starting in the Latin creative industry? So all my Latinos in the chat, Latinos and Latinas in the chat, what advice would you give to them? And I want to go one by one, so we can start with Pablo.
When I give talks and conferences, that I don't give that much, but I give like the same exact. I say I give the same exact advice to everyone is that don't get frustrated. That's my motto. So I want to pass it over like all the time. It's like you have to like to reach this. You just have to pass like all these levels, right? And some people that just get frustrated and go away and say, hey, this is not for me. And so my advice is to young animators and young designers, and like don't get frustrated by stupid things. Like you will probably get there, like it will take a little bit longer. That like nobody cares about that, so keep on trying. It's like kind of a cliche, but for, but but for me it was key in my like in my work, like in my day by day work. So I wanted to say that.
Thank you. It's pretty blunt, but it works a lot. Then Lola, do you have some advice for our peeps in the chat?
Well,
watching?
yes, I think what Pablo is saying is key. Especially my message is for women is that there will always be someone else, not only for women, for everyone. There will be always someone to tell you to criticize your work, and so don't take it personally, and never like take it just as a construction, as a as a note for your work, because sometimes we forget about our work, and we can fall into a place where everything is trying to defend ourselves against something, or perhaps getting to the place on that spot where I don't feel confidence or trust with that person I'm talking to. So just being very nice with everyone and be very respectful, and don't get discouraged, as Paulo said, but also just try to specialize. That's another advice I give, is that it's very good. I used to say this. I've learned all of what I know about my life. I learned it through animation. For animation, I learned to draw, to design, to plan, to storytell, to do 2D, to know, for example, very complex ways to produce things in 3D. And this is like a very long path, and even financial. So at the moment where it's true, you need talent, but at the same time, you need people around that can support financially that production, and also create the bonds with people, with teams, with friends. Be respectful and nurture them. If you nurture your friend, if you have the time to take care of that other one, that's better, because the best animation studios or the best animation teams are created by trust and by time. This is like being like rock bands. The most you play, so you just need to watch the other one to do the first the first string in the guitar, and then you start playing the song. And I think the same, if you can have the ways to keep and nurture your team, that's wonderful, because in the same time you will see the development and the evolution of your own work in the years. So it's specialized. Don't get discouraged, and take care of the other ones. Be respectful. Don't take anything personally, and don't fall in that spot where my work is not worth it, or I'm the worst in the world, because don't compare yourself to anyone.
Yeah, thank you. And Jasmine?
Yeah, that last one was don't compare yourself. Nowadays with social media, it's a very usual thing that we are all the time like, oh no, she got that contract with that brand I wanted, or stuff like that all the time. Stop doing that, because it's not going to take you anywhere. And also another advice I would give is to make friends and collaborate with other people, because you never know when you're going to have a project, for example, and you need more people. You need to connect with people you trust. Yeah, you need to create bonds with people so that you can have a great team.
Yeah, that's great. And
That's great advice. The last one was great advice. That lot of like lot of the big projects that we had like in the history of the studio were mostly were by the human bond. It's like that we had with other directors, with other studios, with our agencies, but the human link there. So we take that thing that advice that Jasmine just said like really seriously. So I think that's a great advice.
that's great. And I have one
Awesome.
last advice for everyone. It is live life also. You have to have experiences in your life so that you can put them into your stories. So not everything is work. You also have to take rests and take care of yourself, and take care of your body. And I have one question in the chat. I was wondering if they, by that means all of you, studied art or animation at their respective countries, or if you went abroad or did online classes as well.
I studied here in Mexico.
Lola. Okay, Jasmine studied in Mexico.
Jasmine.
Yeah, I studied digital animation here in Mexico.
Mhm.
But yeah, I was like the third generation that was able to study in our country. So it is a very, very new career. But I think nowadays you can learn a lot of the skills online.
Yeah.
Maybe not all, but a lot of them.
Agree. Pablo?
Yeah, I studied graphic design here in Buenos Aires, and then animation like by myself. But by the time that I learned that, we didn't have that in college or universities. We just learn it online, like with things. But I think that right now with all the courses that there, you just can try it and see if that works and if you like it and all that like really quick. So that's a good thing. But once you like that, I recommend to be there like physically. That like the way that you learn that is totally different that seeing that in a screen. So I recommend that when you like something, you just go and go to a real place with real people and a teacher in front of you. You will assimilate that like totally different. So
Yeah,
I recommend that.
I agree. And Lola?
Well, I think I also studied graphic design in the university because back then there was no careers in animation specialized in that. So it's so we learned it in the way, you know, in the path. Right now there are a lot of opportunities online, but what I will suggest is that now that we have the opportunity of learning from another areas like from science, from from the humanities, and it's good to have source of information. This is to complement. If I already know animation, I can complement that knowledge with science or with maths or with physics or with philosophy, whatever you want. And also in the way of methodology, I think that's depending on the resources that everyone has. I think right now there are very good tools online, but also we have to be sincere here, because not to study in a place or a university or school takes time, takes money, unless that you have a scholarship. Some people can learn easily by listening or just by watching or just by interacting. So it depends. It depends of what's that you prefer. It's to know yourself. How is that you learn the best? Some people prefer to learn alone by themselves, and then there are others that they prefer to go outside to a center where you can meet a lot of people and to connect in a physical way. I think we have in a time of opportunities, But the most important is that you know yourself, is that you know what it flows to you, what if it is it's by the way of drawing, or by the way of reading or listening. So pick that, listen to yourself, and know what's the easiest way for you to learn, and stick on that. If you have the opportunity to go to university, that's great too, because that depends on, there are a lot of ways to learn, and it's not okay, you can go to the MIT and all of that, but I think that if you're not compromised with your inner call, you're not gonna do
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, right. Okay, thank you. I have one question in the chat that I want to answer, that I want to ask, and then one flash round where you can only answer with a few words so that we can close the panel. So the question that I have, sorry, give me a moment. How do you guys combat creative roots? I always feel so much pressure to create constantly, but never manage to keep up with others. I don't know what creative roots mean, but I think this is more like, I read it more like creative block. When you're like, you don't have anything but you need to deliver, and then you also feel the pressure because everyone is also on social media creating. So quickly, maybe Jasmine, you can answer this one because you are really strong on social media.
Solution: get out of social media. Go to do something, because in order to create something, like the act of creating something is like an output, is you outputting something. But in order to be able to output something, you need an input. So you need to have, I don't know, maybe learn something new, go outside, anything that's different to what you've been doing before that blog.
Nice, that's great advice. And we have 2 minutes left, so I'm gonna do the flash round. I'm gonna go one by one, and please tell me which Latin artist do you think everyone should know of? So recommendation for like inspiration. Then which city in the world do you consider to be the hotspot of creative industry? And which country is the hotspot in creative South America? So inspiration, one. The other one is which city is the hotspot that you consider it's a hotspot in the world, and which country in South America, creative hotspot. You got it? All right.
Sorry, the artist should be from Latin America as well, or
yeah, Latin America, or whichever one. You just maybe one that's like life changing.
Okay, cool.
So okay, maybe you want to go, Pablo, or you want some time to think?
You got me like off guard, but I'm gonna try it. Like, we are big fans of Gaston Pacheco. Is like from here, from Argentina, and we worked with him a couple of times. And I like, if you don't know him, he's called Gaston Pacheco. He's a
amazing,
really talented guy. And which was the second
city?
question? Sorry.
The creative city, like creative hotspot in all the world.
In all the world, I think that is Los Angeles is right now, but I don't know. It's like just because they still like the best artists, and I think that's why it's the hot spot right now. But could be Paris as well. They have the Gobelin School there, and I'm a big fan, and I have a couple of friends there that they're studying, and they're like super hot right now, and I love them. And
country South America, super quick. We have 40 minutes.
Sorry. I don't know. Quick. I think that Argentina, I think, is the hot spot right now.
Great. Jasmine.
Natalie Kuromoto, she's a Venezuelan illustrator and makes incredible art of Latin American situations, but with a very kawaii approach. Also, I think, for animation, Los Angeles. And in Latin America, I will say either Argentina, Mexico, or Brazil.
Great. Lola, we have 15 seconds. Go.
Oh my God. From Colombia, Northern right now, two studios that I would like you to see in animation, Silvia Prieto and Dinamita Animación. Those are great work.
We're out of time.
And I forgot the other question. Place?
No, the place, the city. Just go city.
Yeah,
Tokyo.
sorry,
Okay, guys, thank you. This
Tokyo
has
is a
been
good one, yeah.
amazing. Thank you very much for everything. Thank you very much for your words, and everyone. I hope you keep on enjoying the rest of the streaming. So thank you very much for joining us, and ciao.
Thank you.
Thank you, Julia.